Dear students, welcome to this program on mathematics. Today we are going to discuss from class 9 mathematics book chapter 10 on circle part 1. Here we will discuss about some terms related to circle. So let's see some objects on this screen. As you see, the upper one is a picture of moon as we see from earth, a full moon. And second one is a giant wheel. Let's see some other objects. Here it is a wheel of a cycle, then a 10 rupee coin, a bangle, and a round shaped clock. So why we are here to see some objects which have some specific property in their shape. What is the shape? We can say all these objects are circular in shape. If we consider their edges, they form a circle. Then how do we draw a circle? To draw a circle, we have to use a compass, which is generally exists in our geometry box. Now, if we take the compass, we can fix the pencil, and on a plain paper, if we fix the needle of the compass at a point and we revolve the pencil around it, we'll draw a circle. So from this drawing of a circle, we can define the circle. If you see that O is fixed, but pencil is always at a fixed distance. So we can say that the collection of all the points in a plane which are at a fixed distance from a fixed point in the plane is called a circle. So you see O is a fixed point here, and all the collection of points on which the pencil has moved is this collection trace a path which is called a circle. And the fixed point, what is it called? The fixed point is called the center of the circle. So you see the center of the circle is the point where we fix the needle of the compass. Now, what is the fixed distance is called? The fixed distance is called the radius of the circle. Now, in this figure, we have O is the center of the circle and the length OP is called the radius of the circle. Now, the line segment which joins the center O and a point on the circle P is called radius. That means we can consider the radius as a length as well as a line segment whenever it is required, as and when it is required. Now see, a circle divides the plane in three parts. What are they? As you see, the yellow line is the circle, and inside it, which is blackened, is one part, and the third part is outside the circle. So what are they called? The first one is called the interior of the circle. That means it is inside the circle. So inside the circle, which is also called the interior of the circle, this is one part of the plane, and the second part is the circle itself. And which is the third part? The third part is outside the circle, which is also called the exterior of the circle. So we have thus three parts on the plane which is divided by the circle. So if we consider it as sets of points, we have three disjoint sets here. One is interior, that means no point in interior is a point on the circle. Similarly, no point in the exterior of the circle is a point on the circle. Now, how to geometrically we can prove that a point on the plane is either inside the circle or outside the circle. That means in the exterior of the circle or on the circle or at the exterior of the circle. Let's draw a circle. If this one is a circle and O is the center. So here it is a plane. This is our circle. Inside it is the interior of the circle and outside this is the exterior of the circle. If I put a point here, say the point is A. Now join the line OA. So the length of the line OA, whether it is greater than radius, if OP is the radius, you see it intersects the circle at say X. So definitely OA is greater than OX. That means OA is greater than radius R. Now you see where is A? A is at the exterior of the circle. So when A is at the point is at the exterior of the circle, the length of the distance of the point from the center is always greater than the radius. Now you see, if we take a point inside the circle or in the interior of the circle, let it be B. Now join the line OB. Now what is this length OB and the radius? Definitely OB is less than radius R. That means B is interior of this is at the interior of the circle and the distance of the point from the center is less than the radius. So whenever such case arises, that point is always inside the circle or in the interior of the circle. If we put a point here on the circle, let it be C, OC. As you know, what is by the definition of radius, the distance between the point on the circle and the center of the circle is the radius. So OC is the radius. So whenever a point, the distance of a point from the center is equal to radius, then it is always on the circle. So we can mathematically show that the point is in the interior of the circle or in the exterior of the circle or on the circle. Now let's take 2 points on the circle P and Q. You see, if you take 2 points P and Q on the circle, then the line segment PQ is called a chord of the circle. Okay? So a chord is a line segment joining 2 points on the circle. Now if we consider another chord which passes through the center O, then the chord is called the diameter of the circle. Then how many diameters can be drawn. That means the number of chords drawn through the point of center. As you know, we can draw infinite number of lines through a given point. So we have infinitely many diameters. And see, a diameter is the longest chord. If we compare here PQ and PR, the longer one is PR because it passes through the center. And here another diameter is also given, AB. So PR and AB are the diameters and their length must be equal. So we can say that all diameters have this same length. And what is that length? You see, O is the center and OA is a radius and OB is also a radius. So the diameter is twice the length of the radius. Now you see, length of a diameter is equal to 2 times the radius. Now if we consider the 2 points PQ and the 2 parts to which this points PQ divides the circle. We have 2 parts, you see, one is upper part as it is shown in this figure and the lower part. Upper one is smaller one and the lower one is longer one. So a piece of a circle between 2 points is called an arc. So here we have 2 arcs but with the same name. We name both the arcs by PQ, but one is smaller one and another is longer one. And the longer one is called the major arc. You always remember this. The longer one is called major arc PQ. Though the same naming is there, P and Q same points. So we can say the longer one as major arc PQ and the shorter one as minor arc PQ. So whenever we get 2 points on an arc, we can see 2 arcs. One is major arc and another is minor arc. But when we consider the endpoints of diameter, then we have 2 arcs which are equal in length. So such equal length of arcs are called semicircle. So here as you see in this picture, PQ is the diameter and we have on both sides of PQ we have 2 arcs which are of equal length. So these 2 parts are called semicircles. Now you see the length of the complete circle is called its circumference. So half of it is semicircle and the complete length of the complete circle is called the circumference of the circle. Now let's consider other related terms of the circle. Now here we can see a chord in the middle of the inside the chord, inside the circle. Now before going to discuss about this, if we have 2 points on the circle and draw a chord, then what about the points of the chord which are not the end points or not on the circle? Definitely, if the endpoints of a chord are not considered, the all other points of the chord always exist in the interior of the circle. Now you see what is segment. Here we can see a chord is there and this chord divides the whole circular region into two parts. So what are they? The region between a chord and either of its arc is called segment of the circular region. So here we have two parts. One is the bigger one and the other is bounded by the smaller arc. As we know, the bigger arc or the arc of longer length is called major arc. So the segment related to this longer one is called major segment. Similarly, the region bounded by the chord and the minor arc means the arc of smaller length is called minor segment. So this circle is divided by the chord, the circular region divided by the chord into two segments. One is major segment and the other is minor segment. Now let's consider other terms of a circle. Let's see. Here we can see that the circle is again divided into two parts but in some different way. So what are this way? You see the end points A and B of the circle are connected or joined with the center, and the region is bounded by these radii and the arc. So such region is called the sector. That means the region between an arc and the two radii joining the center to the end points of the arc is called a sector. Now you see the sector which is related to minor arc is called minor sector. Similarly, the major arc corresponds to is called major sector. Here also we can divide the circular region into two parts. Those are two sectors. One is minor sector and the other is major sector. So what happens if the two radii are on the same line? Then we can say that when two arcs are equal, that is each is a semicircle, then both segments and both sectors become the same and each is known as semicircular region. Let's understand this, try to understand it. If these radii are on the same line, then this will constitute a diameter. So as we know, the endpoints of a diameter divides the circle into two semicircles. So the sector will become a semicircular region. Similarly, in this case, in case of segment, if this chord will be the longest chord, that means diameter, again we have two regions which are equal, and those are called semicircular region. Now let's see some questions related to circle. Does the center of a circle lie on the circle? As you know, when we draw the circle, we fix the point and then we move the pencil around it. That means this fixed point is inside the circle. So we can say that the center of a circle lies in the interior of the circle. So it is not a part of the circle. Let's take another question. The question is, where does a point lie whose distance from the center of a circle is greater than its radius? As you see in the board, here AO is greater than radius OX, and from this figure we see that A is in the exterior of the circle. So we can say that a point whose distance from the center of a circle is greater than its radius lies in the exterior of the circle. Let's take another question. The question is, which is the longest chord of a circle? As we discussed, the longest chord of a circle is called the diameter of the circle. Now, when ends of an arc are the ends of a diameter, then what is the arc called? As you know, when the end points of diameter are there, it divides the circle into two equal parts. So we can say that when ends of an arc are the ends of a diameter, then the arc is called semicircle. Let's take another question. The question is, what is the region between an arc and chord of a circle? You know that the region between the arc and chord of a circle is called a segment. Let's take another question. In how many parts does a circle divide the plane on which it lies? As we know that one is the circle itself, one is the interior of the circle, and the other is the exterior of the circle. So the circle divides the plane on which it lies into three parts. Those are interior of circle, exterior of circle, and the circle itself. So dear students, today we learn about the different terms of circle. Hope you understand. Let's conclude it. Thank you.